You know, there's a saying, and it may not be from an accredited person. It's from an actor in a hospital series, if you will. But it still holds weight. And it's a quote by House. Everybody lies. And that's true. But you know who lies the most? Our government. And you know who they're lying to more than anybody else? The people of the United States. And it's disgusting. I tried to go live, and Mark Zuckerberg decided to cut my feed every time I began. It didn't stop my message, it just threw me off my game a little bit, you know. I was like, well, fuck this. You know what? Fuck you and your ugly ginger ass. I'm going to YouTube and making a hard video on my phone and then uploading that video. So basically, the corona, it's a real virus, but it's nothing more than a new strain of the influenza virus, okay? And just like how H1N1 was, okay? And they're blowing this up way out of proportion to hide their hidden agenda. Okay, and this hidden agenda is basically making two lies, but the one being the true lie, and the other one is basically a dummy lie, okay? So, this whole corona thing, they're trying to shut down the mail-in ballots, alright? Or trying to push the mail-in ballots, my bad, not shut down. Because of all the corona hype, okay? But the thing about that is, have you ever seen an inside of a mailroom? Now imagine a vote from Texas going all the way to Washington, D.C. How many hands that's going to fucking pass through? Remember the game Telephone as kids? You know, granted, they're kids, but still, the idea and the concept, it still remains the same. Yes, it's something simple, but that's neither here nor there. The game Telephone. When we were kids, we'd whisper to one another, and the truth was so twisted and distorted, it didn't even resemble the beginning statement. In essence, that's what they're doing here. They're making a civilian false flag operation. They're giving the public, a false narrative on who the enemy is. Making Trump out to be the monster. Making Corona a lot bigger than it is. You know, playing on the oversensitive population's fears that they actually began making it a bureaucracy once people became so easily offended. Once the development of social media and radio came out and TVs and shit like that. So what they did was they started hiding that information. You know, making it basically in the words telephone. Putting it within the bureaucracy and the different steps of everything that's going on now. And that's how they hide it from people. But that way of hiding it bred corruption. And it bred like rabbits, man. It fucked and produced one corrupt son of a bitch after another. You know, and it's foul. And it comes down to us as individuals to seek out the truth from the horse's mouth, if you will. And that's what I've done. In my time off and unemployment, I've looked at the ugly truth because, you know, they still haven't paid me yet. So, of course, I'm going to spend my time seeing why the fuck you guys are so ineffective at getting me my money, but you can get billions of dollars to Iranian government and the stupid Iranian nuclear deal. Okay, fuck you. Now the reason I say Kamala Harris is the actual presidential candidate for the Democratic Party, in my opinion, is all of Joe Biden's, for one, VP selections were female. And my thing about that is, Pelosi is the head of the corruption, in my opinion, in the House. She will not budge on anything. She is completely closed-minded, and she's a goddamn fool. She has no business being in Congress, and sure as hell has no business being the head of the House, Speaker of the House of Representatives. Sorry, I'll speak there for a moment. Now, Joe Biden has early onset dementia. I know this because my father's mother had Alzheimer's. I know what to see firsthand because I have a picture photographic memory. I remember even down to the detail of what the early signs were. Joe Biden has them. It's sad, but it's an ugly truth. Now, the Democratic Party's plan is to basically play on that in a year and basically deem Joe Biden unfit. Therefore, making Kamala Harris to step in as president, you know what I mean? So at that point, Pelosi has her puppet of a president in the executive office. Very sad day for America indeed. I'm not against a woman being president. However, I am against Pelosi being president. And that's basically what Kamala Harris would be in the executive office. Okay, I'd love for Candace Owens to run. I think she'd be great. It's not about race or gender. She's black and fucking a woman. I just don't want Pelosi ever to be in office because she's a corrupt, dumb ass bitch. It's completely ineffective. And I don't care if this will be brought up in the future. I'm speaking my mind because I lead on the process of that. I'm trying to be transparent with everybody. Everybody I represent. I have a plan to keep the representatives transparent in two ways. Called the Transparent Collaboration Act, which basically forces representatives to get approval from their district to collaborate with any business, which is frowned upon normally, but it can be allowed if all business meetings are monitored and recorded, and the district that they represent is approved of it. Then another bill I have is called Transparency Act. This will basically require every representative to be mic'd up. Okay. Also require them to have 2 weekly addresses to the people via live or on all social media platforms. This basically will give them a chance to address the complaints by the people from their district and how they plan to go about resolving those issues throughout the week. At the end of the week, make it Friday evening, basically will be that representative having to tell the truth on whether or not, yeah, I suck or yeah, I'm great. You know what I mean? So it basically allows the representative to build rapport with people to get to know their representative and slowly curb the spread of corruption in all 3 houses, or branches. My apologies. Like I said, they're using this stuff 40 years now. 40 years later, they're using the own oversensitive populations, oversensitiveness to their advantage to cover up their own corruption. Now, I'm just going to go into straight up just going right to my recording. I don't want to make a really long video because unfortunately politics has been made into a giant bureaucracy. And I want people to actually view this video. So without further ado, I present to you eBright's purification systems. Now I blacked out all the actual elements and I won't be using the actual elements, names, or symbols. I'll be using, made up names just as I go through my presentation. So come on, join me. Let's do some explaining, which all the people in our Congress really suck at. I did it. Alright. So over quarantine, I'm like a lot of people from my generation going on the street bitching and moaning. I decided to actually do something about the problem, try to fix it. This right here is my method of removing all of our world's waste in just 5 to 10 years. Stage 1 is right here, waste intake. This comes down through here and basically gets chopped up more finely from your energy's already pre-existing process of gasification. A lot of these plants and incineration places have like big grinding turbines. And this plays off that. Okay? Now through this you have a liquefied, you have basically a very acidic element here and here in this container here. Then right here, perforated piping basically pulls it up into the interior intake pipe. That goes through a screen down here, and then gets sent to another waste level stream right here. Once this part right here is filled, this shuts off and begins to go down to the preheating coil. Goes down through here, all the fully liquefied waste will come through here. Something you still need to liquefy will come into here. Not here, my bad. Here. This pipe. This is just part I did just for the overflow. After it's graded, it will come down here, go in there, and as well as in here. These are containment cylinders. So the two elements very vital to this process. This delivery system for the gaseous state side, as well as this side for the containment unit for emergency purposes. This is the Bunsen burning process. Heat treated beaker, evaporates the liquid basically with waste into a gaseous state. There will be a turbine about here pulling all the smoke up, as well as smoke already rising, if you don't know. Go push into there, press cylinder, hold it, gaseous state. Now once all this stuff that can be turned to a gaseous state is gone, you're going to be left over with some liquid, right? Well, that can be solved here too. This right here is all this stuff at the top. Now after we boil this stuff, the stuff at the top is going to obviously have a little bit more liquid waste, a little bit left over bullshit in it. So the stuff that's coming up into here is going to come through this pipe here. Now the stuff that's already been evaporated for all the toxicity is going to be down here at the very bottom. Because that's the stuff that's got the most heat, right? And now we're going to this beaker is going to be heat treated to handle degrees up to 200 degrees Celsius consistently. Now, here we get into the other process, which is the liquid portion of the purification system. Now after it goes into here, it gets separated through another screen, brought down into here, and into a secondary runoff container, basically, holding it all like a silo, while also taking from that and putting into a shipment container for shipping to a secondary facility for testing. Because this process is guaranteed to remove all the toxins, but allows us to begin and test to do so. This one right here, same thing as this. This is the gaseous state containment unit for shipment. Overflow from here into here, compressed tank that basically connect a hose of sorts from a truck or semi to there. Also generating jobs, stimulating our economy. Places like I used to work, like Mac and places like that, will have millions and millions of dollars in contracts for this industry specifically. Now, knowledge is power. But if you don't use the knowledge that you've obtained, it's powerless. That's just the ugly truth of things. Now, another truth of that is that when our government denies the American people of knowledge, look how dumb they have become. Well, not dumb, that's the wrong choice of words, I apologize. Ignorant. But ignorance can be fixed through education, you see. But you notice how slowly our education's becoming more and more shitty. Okay, look at the shit going down lines to make our generations become more and more and more ignorant. Okay? And that's the problem. And I also want to call out somebody who I think is a great man, but I see a lot of things that he sees as far as the economic gains with cannabis being used as a tax revenue to generate millions of jobs, stimulate the economy, and many other things. But me and Bill Nye, we disagree on one thing. And that is that weed affects you physically or cognitively. And that is a flat out fucking bold-faced lie. I can say that from experience. I have literally almost every live I've ever done. I've smoked before I've done it. I have personally gone to the natatorium after smoking a blunt of Gorilla Glue number 4, which is supposed to be a indica put you in your chair. And for 2 games straight on the floor at the net, I dropped 4 threes each time, right in motherfucker's face. I mean, granted, they put some dude that could never keep up with me on the court. He was like 300 pounds. I was like 225. And this dude was also like 5'11", granted. But like, I had no problem pulling up and shooting threes like I was fucking Steph Curry. As well as that, nobody scored on me either. So, but then post that, I played football on weed. I drive on weed. I've run half marathons on weed. Like, fuck you. I've cleaned my whole entire kitchen and come up with this whole entire plan EPS while smoking weed. I had come up with a plan to fix our entire economic infrastructure and bring back millions of jobs to the American people, privatizing energy to the homeowners, and as well as moving, giving the American car industry a competitive edge with the Foreign Car Restriction Act that was cut off in my earlier Facebook Live video at the very end. Now, this is my manifesto. I'll read this bill to you real quick. Bill 10. Called the Foreign Car Restriction Act. This bill allows us to reduce the amount of foreign cars imported to our country, as well as allowing the American car companies like Ford, Chevy, Dodge, as well as their luxury lines like Lincoln and Cadillac. This will give our car companies an edge to allow car companies to keep people employed, despite my agenda to support Tesla and my collaboration with Elon Musk to make Tesla Model S's available for people who otherwise couldn't afford them. This process is explained in Year 4 budget of legal marijuana taxation, with $15 billion set aside for this. The American stoners pay for this just by smoking weed and buying from legal dispensaries instead of from illegal dispensaries, also known as the weed man or the trap. Illegal recreational dispensaries has prices that 95% of the illegal side can't compete with. Now that the free Tesla funding is explained, let's get back to the Foreign Car Restriction Act. This is me writing down my writings for the bill. This will limit foreign car sales in America dramatically. Un momento. We achieve this by limiting foreign car imports in America. We can do this by only allowing imported cars to even enter our country once every 5 years. We will allow foreign car companies to import and sell their cars in our booming and renewable capitalist economy, protecting American jobs while still giving the American people the option to buy any foreign cars of their choice in that year window. Now, we may not necessarily have to continue the 5-year thing, but the thing about it is we need to start showcasing our country's strength in other ways besides military and throwing our big dick around. Okay, we need to lead by example, not by fear. We are a century behind in evolution because our government has hid things from us. It goes all the way back to 1947. I'm not going to get into that because people won't watch it. And I don't feel like waiting for 100 years for this video to upload or share with the public. Now, I'm going to hop off here. Frankly, I like to enjoy this lovely Benjamin Franklin and Doobie with my lady and listening to some reggae maybe. But no, follow me on my page. My page is eBright 2030 Congress. You know, I plan on going to law school this spring, going to college, getting that law degree, and this is how much I've come up with now. Imagine after 8 years with a full education on all the laws that make up this country. Dude, it's a wrap. Because I can be the best representative I can possibly be. And I will be, the people will know me because of EPS. And I want to give back to the people by the millions, billions of dollars. Because without the people of this country, we're nothing. And our government has lost sight of that. The reason we were able to become so powerful during the beginning of World War II when Japan attacked us is because of our vast population and our vast resources. And it's because the people came together, not under a false flag operation, but by an actual country attacking us. And look what happened. Women went to factories, produced armaments and materials of war for the men who were drafted. And America led the fight and spearheaded the operation on the beaches in Normandy. And we liberated France along with other help from Canada, Great Britain. We don't want to forget about them. You know, they did help. They did their part. They served they did their share to help topple the Third Reich. But that's neither here nor there. Please subscribe to my channel. I need to get 1,000 viewers before I can go live, or 1,000 subscribers. I'd like to hit that number. You know, I'm starting this journey now because I'm nobody. You know, I'm 26 years old and just some guy from Akron with a lot of great ideas. But they will know me in time. Stay classy, America. This is eBright signing off. Stay informed. Vote eBright 2030.